The early story began in August of 1990. I had just found out I was pregnant with my third child, and it was supposed to be an exciting time, right? Except we were watching from a distance as friends of ours were fighting for the life of their newborn. He had been born just days too early from being able to breathe on his own, and for the entire month he fought to live. And that was after they had experienced a series of miscarriages and the stillbirth of a baby boy and other issues that just seemed too great for any one couple to deal with. And I remember being so torn between the grief I felt for this couple as they were fighting so hard, and the celebration I wanted to have and yet couldn't because I had my daughter with no urgent things happening regarding her. And there was one time in the mixture of my emotion that I yelled out to God and I said, listen, if a baby has to die, take mine. Take mine and give her hers. She doesn't deserve any more loss. And it seemed like the right thing, a very sacrificial thing, and surely God would see that it was the right thing to do. But baby Eric died. And my baby kept growing in my belly. I wrestled with God hard over that. In fact, I shut my heart to him so many times, saying, how could you let that happen? How could you let her hurt so much, so often, over something that you gave her a desire for? Children. Can I trust you? If you do that to her, if you allow that to happen, will you do it to me too? And I wrestled hard for weeks, months, actually. It was New Year's Eve, 1990, when I finally, in a night of desperate anger and angst, I threw my face into my pillow and I cried bitter tears. And I said, God, can I trust you? And the word that I heard is, Kathy, can you afford not to? And I sat back and I said, Lord, I don't get this. I don't understand this. But I do believe you are who you say you are. And if you, as God, can see something that of a bigger picture here that makes this make sense, I have to trust you. I can't stay angry anymore. And I laid my head back on the pillow and I found sleep for the first time in a long time. The next morning I woke up and the first thing my eyes saw was a calendar on my bedroom wall from August, 4 months earlier. And it was a painted picture of a mama kangaroo with a baby roo poking its head out. And the caption read, do not neglect the gift that is in you. And I knew that God was saying to me, you can trust me. This baby needs to grow. And just 4 months later, April 28th, 1991, Leisha Danae Burris was born. Well, fast forward 15 and a half years. August again, this time of 2006. And this time I'm sitting at my kitchen table and I'm reading a book no one's ever read before. It was a single chapter that I found in the back of Leisha's diary. Why was I reading it? Because just days earlier, she had died in a car pedestrian accident. And I found her thoughts and her insights of recent days, but in the back of this journal, the words seemed upside down, and I flipped it over, and there was a cover page that said Lovely Traces. And then she wrote one chapter that started once upon a time I was born. And then she says, wait, I should start at the beginning. Once upon a time, this boy met this girl and they fell in love. And she writes one chapter about my story, about where we lived, about where her dad worked, about when her sisters were born, and the color of our yellow house. And then my breath caught as I read her version. of the baby Eric story and the struggle that I had gone through before she was born. And then in her own words, she said, but then Mom decided she would trust God, and I was born. Leisha Dene Burris. And I gasped because here I was, knowing that I was at the edge of a crisis, a point that would feel out of control, a moment where once again I would say, God, can I trust you? And before I even got to that point, she says, Mom, you did it once, do it again. In her words, from her pen, she reminded me of a time, as if my timeline of my life had turned into a slinky and 1990 touched 2006. And once again, I'm reminded, when I asked the question, can I trust you? It was Leisha's voice that said, Mom, you did it before. You can do it again. What's your story telling you? What are the layers of your story that God has been trying to use to speak to your heart, to speak to your today? I invite you to listen to your story. It has so much to tell you about a God who really can be trusted.